Hey everybody, happy Wednesday, week 13 or so of the pandemic. It's a crazy time. I'm calling it pandemic cubed. Pandemic was the coronavirus marching around the world. Pandemic squared is this pandemic is causing a mental health pandemic. The incidence of anxiety, depression, insomnia, the use of anti-anxiety drugs, antidepressants, sleeping pills, gone way up. We are in the middle. The calls to Amen clinics have just skyrocketed last week and this week. Marital problems, ADD, anxiety, depression, addictions. And then the killing of George Floyd and the societal pandemonium. So that's pandemic cubed. It's like pandemic times mental health pandemic times societal pandemonium. And I've just seen the level of anxiety in my patients skyrocket. And many of them actually take comfort in their glass or two of wine. And here on the West Coast, you may be cooking with a glass of wine. Put it down. So since I started imaging the brain, I've not been a fan of alcohol, actually. I mean, it predated that. I got drunk when I was 16 at my brother's house on a 6-pack of Michelob and a half a bottle of champagne. And I was so stupid and so sick that I'm like, why is this fun? Now, I'm not genetically loaded to have problems. It just made me sick. People who are genetically loaded, they have the same experience and they go, that's awesome, let's do it again. But since I started our imaging work 30 years ago, I'm clearly not a fan of alcohol, and I say it, and our first clinic was outside of the Napa Valley in Northern California, and I feel bad about it. You know, I'm treating people who are vintners, but the scans don't lie. The scans don't lie. People who drink every day have smaller brains. And when it comes to your brain, size matter. So let's just talk about it. Is drinking good for your health or bad for it? Some studies point to benefits for heart health with moderate drinking, but others show differently, and it can be confusing. Today, however, the American Cancer Society took a major step in the debate by revising its cancer prevention guidelines to clearly state it is best not to drink alcohol. For years, they had simply recommended limiting alcohol consumption. The new stance makes more sense for the organization, considering its website also says alcohol use is one of the most important preventable risk factors for cancer, along with tobacco use and being overweight. The idea of eliminating alcohol during the pandemic, however, may seem impossible for some. You may think you need wine or beer or quarantinis to cope with the skyrocketing stress and anxiety of lockdown, job loss, social unrest, and you're not alone. Weekly retail sales of alcohol beverages have gone up 55% during the pandemic. But drinking is not the solution to the problem. Thousands of SPECT scans of moderate drinkers reveal abnormal activity in the brain. I published this in a paper 2 years ago. It is a factor that contributes to aging in the brain. A 30-year study in the British Medical Journal, suggests moderate drinking, 1 to 2 glasses of wine a day, leads to atrophy in the hippocampus. The hippocampus is one of the major mood and memory centers in your brain. No, you cannot have a couple of glasses of wine to take the edge off. There's other ways to do it. Up there is my book, Feel Better Fast and Make It Last. The alcohol to take the edge off helps you feel better now, but not later. And ultimately, what you want to do is learn how to feel better now and later. And so you need to come up with alternatives, but not yet. A 43-year study of more than 12,000 people found that moderate to heavy alcohol users increased their risk of dementia 57%. Heavy alcohol use alters neurotransmitters involved in mood and anxiety disorders. It lowers function in your prefrontal cortex, that part of your brain that helps you with judgment, forethought, impulse control. Drinking alcohol increases cravings for food. It's a major cause of divorce. And we're getting calls at the clinic now for marital therapy, relationship problems. And I predicted this when the pandemic started, that 9 months from now, we're going to have a whole bunch more babies because you have more time, and a lot more divorces because you're like, is this really the person I want to be with now that you're actually spending more time? It's a major cause of domestic violence. I see that over and over and over again. Did you know alcohol is a disinfectant, which means it can damage the microbiome in your gut? Jim Beam is like, hey, we can make disinfectant. Alcohol kills bugs. Well, how many bugs are in your gut? 100 trillion. They make neurotransmitters and detoxify your body. They help you digest your food. They're critically important to your health and your survival. So it's a major cause of motor vehicle accidents, subsequently head trauma from accidents, but also fights. Alcohol beverages are full of empty calories, which means they contribute to obesity. And it's addictive, not for everybody, but for a lot of people. Alcohol is strongly associated with anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, ADD, traumatic brain injuries. I was talking to one of my patients yesterday, and it's likely to cost her marriage if we don't get rid of it. So there's so many ways. So one, see it as a problem. Here's my definition of you're an alcoholic. I mean, we have a different term for it. We call it alcohol use disorder. Is if drinking gets you into trouble in your relationships, you're an ass. With your money, with your health, with the law, or with work. And then you do it again. That is the definition I use. It's like you're not learning. Also, if it takes more and more to get the same buzz, or you have withdrawal symptoms. All of those things are involved in addictions. And for my patients, I sometimes education and just showing them their scans or showing them their liver enzymes are not good, that motivates them. Sometimes I might use Antabuse. It's a pill that you take that if you drink, it makes you sick as a dog, but it's a 5-second decision in the morning that protects you for the next 24 hours. But then you have to go, so why do I drink? To take the edge off. So what else can you do to take the edge off? I'd make a list of 10 things. You can take a walk. You can call someone. You can meditate. You can pray. There's hypnosis, audios on BrainFit Life at our website, mybrainfitlife.com. That'll help take the edge off. Tana is really good about breathing and meditating and praying. It just helps her so much. This is so important. I care about you. We have been lied to by the wine industry, by the beer industry, by the hard liquor industry. We have been lied to. And many of the studies showing that alcohol is a health food, in fact, were funded by the alcohol industry. Anything that increases your risk of 7 different cancers is not a health food. And I'm very grateful that the American Cancer Society was bold enough, was brave enough to take this stand. There's so many other ways to feel better fast, but that can make that last. That's what I want for you. What else is going on? I am going to be on, I think, let me just double check. I think it's Instagram Live tomorrow with Joan London. How exciting is that for me? Joan London tomorrow. So check that out to 10 o'clock Pacific Coast time, and then I'll be back to answer your questions. Pretty soon we will put a request for questions, and Tan and I will answer them together. Okay, take care, everybody.